welcome back to another video. I'm so glad you're here. We are doing a bit of a January and February wrap up. Last year I did like every 3 months, but I noticed that the videos were quite long. So maybe I'm going to do every 2 months so that they're a bit shorter. I don't read a lot. So there are girls on here that read, 25 books in a month. I wish I could be that person. But unfortunately I'm not. I do have a full-time job and other things that I do. So I don't read 25 books a month. I tend to read about 4. And if I'm lucky, maybe 7. So if you are like that and you are very similar to me, and I'm sure we will get along. Also, while I have you here, if you would like to like and subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing. I do this for fun because I love talking about books. But I also post every week a new video, and that can be like a book challenge, something about books that I love reading, a bookish challenge, maybe a little vlog throughout the week, all of those things. But yeah, I don't know, I have a good time doing this. So if you would like to like and subscribe, that would be amazing. So in January, I read 4 books and we started the year off quite strong. I wanted to start, like everybody knows, the first book of the year is like an important book. So I wanted to make this one a reread, and that was, I have it up here, and that was Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing was a 5-star read for me initially when I read the book. I read this quite a little while ago now, when it first came out, but I loved and adored this book, and last year was just not a great book year for me. I feel like I just didn't have that many 5-star reads, so I wanted to start my year off strong and with something good, something I knew was good. So I picked up Fourth Wing and it was a reread, and again it was 5 stars. And if you have not read Fourth Wing, I don't know what you're doing, to be honest with you. It is a fantastic book. So we follow Violet Sorrengail in this and her journey as a rider. So she rides dragons, and in order to ride a dragon, she has to enter into this war college called Basgiath. So to be a part of this and to be a rider, she has to do many different challenges. So the first one is the parapet that she has to cross, which is really, really high up. And it's like this, just like a long plank, not of wood, but like of stone that she has to cross. And that's the first thing in order to get to the college. And then from there, she has to do all these other little things. So it's like there's picking dragons. She has to do this like a huge obstacle course, like off a cliff, all of those things. And I loved that about the initial book in this series. I loved the adventure of those. It was really fun. And then obviously we have different, age groups in here as well. You have the first years, second years, and third years, and they all interact together, and there's something going down in this world that she's trying to piece together. I read Beg, Borrow and Steal in December, and I didn't realize this was an interconnected standalone series, so I quickly went and read When in Rome, which is the first book. So I read Beg, Borrow and Steal, which is the second book, and then I went back and read When in Rome, which is the first book. So this series I absolutely loved, and I'm just going to talk about all of them now because now I've finished all of them. So I read the next 2 books in this month, in February. We are based in Rome, Kentucky. The first book, When in Rome, is about Amelia, who is a singer-songwriter, and she travels to Rome as like a when in Rome kind of thing. So she travels to Rome to kind of escape that celebrity lifestyle, and she comes across Noah, which is this small country town guy, and he has 3 sisters. So in this series it follows each member of the family. So it follows Noah and his 3 sisters. So there are 4 books in this series, and I love it because it's like a small town romance, but it's so good. Like the family elements to it are amazing, and then the fact that it's just set in this small town, but everyone has different things going on in their lives. I just really, really enjoyed this series. I thought it was a really sweet series as well. I just fell in love with every single character, and I want to be their best friend. So we have Noah, who is a bakery owner or like a pie shop owner. So he works in his own small business there. And then we also have Amelia, which is the singer-songwriter. So they go on their journey. And then the next book, Beg, Borrow and Steal, follows Emily and James. Emily is a teacher and James is also a teacher at the same school. However, he's secretly an author and she doesn't know it. So then the next book, which is Practice Makes Perfect, which was my favorite book in this series. I will say this whole series is a 4 to 5 star read for me. I loved every single one of these books. However, Practice Makes Perfect was my favorite one, and I don't really know why. I think I just loved the characters so much more in this book compared to everybody else. I will say though, I think in order of preference, it would go Practice Make Perfect, Beg, Borrow, or Steal, this new one that just came out, which is In Your Dreams, and then When in Rome. I really liked, as I said, I really liked all of them, but Practice Makes Perfect for me was a 5-star read. I just really enjoyed it. I thought it was really cute. My only problem with it was Annie should not have been 30. She should have been like 23 or 24. It would have made more sense to me. Even when I listen to all of these as audiobooks, so even as Annie is speaking in this, she sounds like a kid. So the fact that she's 30 just really kind of annoyed me. But in saying all of that, I thought it was a great book. So Annie is a florist. She owns a flower shop in the town of Rome. And she kind of falls for Will, who is the bodyguard of Amelia. So they have this whole cute thing. It's more of a fake dating trope, that one. Then we have In Your Dreams, which follows James and Madison. Madison went off to New York to become to be a chef. And things didn't go too well there. So then she ended up moving back, and James kind of helps her out. So that's more of like a friends to lovers aspect. Then we have the first one. I would say Beg, Borrow, and Steal is definitely like an enemies to lovers. I don't know what you would consider the first one, When in Rome, to be. I'm not really sure. But anyway, I loved every single book in this series. It was really, really sweet. I do want to own this whole series because I want to own like books that I love. So I want 5-star and 4-star reads to be on my bookshelf. So I really want to buy all of them. More so as trophies because I realized that I have read them all now. But just to have them on my shelf would be amazing. And I think they're all beautifully designed. So I'm excited to read more Sarah Adams books. These are the first Sarah Adams books that I have read. And yeah, as I said, I really enjoyed all of them. So I would like to read some more of her books for sure. Then I decided that I would get into another fantasy read. So I tend to kind of do fantasy romance, just to break things up a little bit. So I did another reread, and that is Powerless. This Powerless trilogy is incredible to me. I love every single one of these books, yet again. But I just wanted to read Powerless again to get into it again. However, this took me forever. The first time I read this book, maybe it took me a day or two to read. It took me a month to read this book. I don't know why. I love this series and I love this book, and for some reason it took me like a month, and I don't understand why that happened. But anyway, again, I loved it. I will say though, I think because it took me a month, it kind of dragged on a little bit. I was only like reading a chapter a night or something, so that's obviously why it took me so long. However, I love Kai. I love Kai so much. He's incredible. The phenomenal love quotes in this book is just fantastic. Peyton's super cool. But yeah, I do love this series. If you haven't read the Powerless trilogy, there's actually 5 books, but if you haven't read the Powerless trilogy, you need to read it. It's fantastic. Basically, it's kind of like Hunger Games. So we have Peyton, who comes from the slums, and then we also have, and she is an ordinary, so she has no powers. And then she enters this death game, pretty much, where all of these elites and powerful people come together and they have to fight and do all these challenges in order to win. So they have to win the game, and then Peyton is in this. Basically, the king wants to kill her, hence why she's in this, because he knows something's up. He does not think that she has powers because she's lying about the powers. He definitely thinks that she's an ordinary. So she enters this like death game. And then similar to the Hunger Games as well, they have all of these like, you need to get on the good side of the people so that the people can like sponsor you and help you out with certain things and provide you with things. So we have like a bit of an underlining story with that. And then you also have, much like the Hunger Games, there's like balls, and then you have to dress up for certain occasions. So yeah, basically it's very similar to that, but the love story in this is fantastic. So this, I will say it was a 5-star read for me. When I first read it, probably like a 4.5 star, just because it took me forever to read this time. All right, and then because everyone kept talking about this book, I needed to read it for myself, and that was The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros. It's actually kind of funny because I read this one first, and then I also read this, and they're 2 Rebecca Yarros books. Just shows you how good of a writer she is, that she can write both. So, fantastic. This book broke me. Are you kidding? I don't even know what to say. I cried so many times reading this book, and I know it was warned. That's why I read it. Everyone was telling me how sad it is and that you should read it because it's a great book, but I did not expect this. Holy cow. Okay, so this book, all right, hold on. So we have Ella and we have Beckett, and Beckett is from the army, and Ella is Beckett's best friend's sister, okay? And she goes, I'm gonna write to this guy because I'm lonely, he's lonely, we're gonna write letters. So it follows the letters of these 2 individuals. I don't want to really spoil it that much. Anyway, follows their letters. So at the start of each chapter, it has a letter that they've written to each other. So you kind of like piece the puzzle together a little bit. Anyway, and through their letters, they kind of fall in love. So you know that. And then she is like, oh my gosh, you're coming to my town, like this small mountain town. So she's super excited, and then things happen and occur. But Ella, has 2 beautiful twin boy and girl, and her daughter is very, very sick. Yeah, she does have cancer, so it's really sad because you're kind of following Ella and her journey as a mum, but also like the kids and what they go through in terms of the kid having cancer and stuff like that. So it's over a number of years, but this book was so sad, and the plot twists and everything in this just really got me. So I think it was at chapter 2 where one of them occurs. Yeah, so by chapter 5, you're already crying, okay? And that's like part 1. And I think it's like this far in. At that point, you're already bawling your eyes out, okay? So anyway, this was a really good book. However, it wasn't like my favorite. I am always I'm never gonna give like a sad book or a book that's about, abuse or about anything like that, a 5-star read. It's just not going to happen because it's sad to me. So enjoying, I don't know, it's weird. Enjoying a book that's about those things, it doesn't really make sense to me. So yeah, anyway, this book was a 4-star read for me. I did like it, but yeah, very, very sad. Then I picked up one of the worst books I've read in a really long time, and I was extremely, extremely disappointed. And that was Abby Jimenez's Part of Your World. What the heck was this? And I'm sorry to anybody that likes this book, but what? I have read all of Abby Jimenez's books, and they're amazing, and they're 5-star reads. But this? What is this? I posted it on my Instagram story, and thankfully I had a lot of girls thinking the same thing. So I'm glad I'm not insane. But if you like this book, that's fine. You can like it. I understand why you might like it. But it just, to me, this is not the same author. I don't know what happened in this. I don't know if this was like her first book that she's written. I know that it's part of like an interconnected standalone series. However, I also wouldn't really put them together. Like, sure, there's like a character in this that puts them together, but like they can just be separate books. I don't know why they have to be like the same book. Anyway, these 2 couple right here, they have a one-night stand, and then they can't get each other out of his mind. Also, she's like, how old is she? She's 10 years older than the guy. I'm sorry, but I just don't like a female that is older than our guy. I don't mind the guy being older than the girl, but the girl being older than the guy, because like she's 38. Yeah, she's 38. She's almost 40, and the guy is 28. What? It just, like, no, that's, in what world is that gonna work? In what world? Anyway, she is a doctor. She is like a doctor prodigy, I guess you'd say. So her whole family are doctors. Like, they have hospitals named after them and everything. Anyway, so she's very wealthy and very rich, and then she accidentally has this car accident, and this guy helps her, so she's stuck in this like small country town. And then yeah, they have a one-night stand. They can't get each other out of their minds. She really, really likes this guy, so she keeps visiting this town, but she's like, well, you'll never be part of my world, part of your world, part of my world, because my world's like this rich upper class place and society, and you're just not part of that. You're in this small country town. The town also does weird magical stuff that like keeps people there and like kicks people out. It was just weird. And to me, I'm like, you're 38. You're 38 and you're having a hard time telling your family about a man. You're 38, grow up. I don't care. Like, anyway, it was just really disappointing. And I just thought it was kind of weird, especially all based on one night stand. Obviously, it was fantastic. Must have been, to like be hooked on him so quickly. A 1-star read for me. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say. And because I am filming this a week before February ends, this will be finished by the time February ends, and that is To Cage a Wild Bird. This book is really cool. I am very much enjoying it. I'm over halfway of this book right now. I'm up to chapter 17, if you will. So I'm, yeah, over halfway. This book is really cool. Okay, so we have the city of Dividend, and the law is simple. Commit a crime and your punishment is a life sentence in Endlock, a prison where the wealthy hunt inmates for sport. Raventhorn is Dividend's most notorious bounty hunter, living on the edge of society. But when her young brother Jed is sentenced to Endlock, Raven will do anything to save him. So basically, Raven is this bounty hunter. Her brother ends up getting caught and ends up getting sent to the prison of death, which is Endlock, where he will be hunted for sport by the wealthy. Yeah, cool. Okay, and then Raven does something in order to get sentenced to the same prison. So there she goes. There she goes in there, and she's been told by one of her friends that she needs to find a way to escape and to escape with certain people. So yeah, we have that. So we are currently in prison. A lot's going on. They hunt inmates for sport. So we've already been out, by this time, we've already been out into the field where they are hunted. So there's different rules in the hunting process, but they basically have to make it to this tree in a certain amount of time. If they make it to that tree, then no one can kill them. Yeah, so it's like you have to be really smart, have your wits about you, be a fast runner, all of those things. And Raven? Yeah. Raven is trying to find a way to escape the prison. So her, Jed, and this other girl, they are all trying to escape the prison. But then she realizes that she wants to take more people with her, because then she finds more friends, and she's like, I can't leave them in here. What do you mean? Also, there's a prison guard who is really cute. And he's also like helping them, which is strange. So we don't really know his story yet as to why he's helping them and why he's so nice. All we know is that he is in charge, and Raven and him did make out in like the first chapter, but they didn't really know it yet. Anyway, she didn't know he was a guard in the prison, basically. But he's kind of helping them. He's the nice guard. He gives them extra food. He makes sure they're protected, helps them when they're being hunted, all of those things. So I'm assuming something bad might happen to him eventually for helping them out. But yeah, I'm really, really enjoying this book. It is a great read. I know so many people are reading it at the moment, and I'm excited to finish it. I'm excited to see what comes out of this book, but at the moment, I honestly think it's sitting at like a 4-star. So yeah. Also reading, just as like a little side book, Pride and Privilege, which is like an office-based romance. So I haven't gotten very far into that book, but I will probably finish it by the end of February. Anyway, we're starting 2026 off really, really strong with some really good reads. I've only had one book that I haven't liked so far. We had 2 5-star reads so far, and the rest have been like 4-star reads. So I think that's really, really great and a really good start for 2026. Let me know down in the comments below if you have already read a 5-star read. I'd love to know. And which book out of all of these that I've suggested is your favorite. Yeah, and I will catch you guys next week for a really fun reading challenge. Okay, bye.